In the Old Testament, the Passover lamb holds profound significance as a foreshadowing of Jesus' saving work. Let's delve into its meaning. Origins and purpose. In the original Passover instructions, God commanded the Israelites to take an unblemished male lamb, keep it until the 14th day of the month, and then sacrifice it at twilight. The blood of the lamb was to be applied to the doorposts and lintels of their houses. When God saw the blood, he would pass over those homes, sparing them from the plague of death. This act served as a sign of faith and obedience. The lamb's body was then eaten according to specific parameters, along with unleavened bread. Symbolism and foreshadowing. The Passover lamb symbolized several crucial aspects. Redemption. God's promise to remove his judgment from his people when he saw the substitutionary blood on their doorposts. Covenant. The Passover was also a sign of God's covenant with his people, pointing to the future satisfaction of his wrath through Christ's sacrifice over lamb was an old covenant sacrament, signifying God's gracious dealings with his people. Substitutionary death. The lamb's blood typified the substitution of one party for another in executing God's judgment. Deserving wrath. The 10th plague, death of the firstborn, demonstrated that Israel, like Egypt, deserved God's wrath due to sin. Isaiah prophetically describes the suffering Messiah. He was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he did not open his mouth, like a lamb that is led to slaughter, and like a sheep that is silent before its shearers, so he did not open his mouth. Isaiah 53 verse 7. Christological connection. The Passover lamb prefigured Jesus. John the Baptist, upon seeing Jesus, proclaimed, "Behold, the Lamb of God who takes away the sin of the world." John 1 verse 29. This statement directly connects Jesus to the sacrificial lambs of the Old Testament, which were offered during the Passover for the forgiveness of sins, the ultimate Lamb of God. Just as the Israelites' deliverance depended on the lamb's blood, our redemption hinges on Christ's sacrificial blood. Jesus, the sinless Lamb, fulfilled the Passover symbolism by offering himself as the atoning sacrifice for humanity's sins. The Apostle Paul explicitly refers to Jesus as our Passover Lamb. He writes, "Clean out the old leaven so that you may be a new lump, just as you are in fact unleavened. For Christ our Passover also has been sacrificed." 1 Corinthians 5 verse 7. Revelation 12 verse 11. Speaks of overcoming through the blood of the Lamb. It emphasizes the power of Jesus' sacrifice and how it enables believers to triumph over evil. In Revelation 17 verse 14, speak of the Lamb. Jesus is depicted as the ultimate conqueror, Lord of lords, and King of kings. His victory over sin and death is central to the Christian faith. Revelation 21 verse 27. The Lamb's Book of Life contains the names of those who will enter the eternal city. Only those whose names are written in this book will be allowed in. It underscores Jesus' role as the Lamb who secures our place in God's presence. Revelation 22 verse 3. In the new heaven and earth, there will be no curse. The throne of God and the Lamb will be central, and his servants will serve him forever. Revelation 7 verse 14. In modern times, Jewish families no longer sacrifice lambs during Passover. In summary, while the original Passover tradition involved the sacrifice of a lamb, today's practice emphasizes the symbolic significance and the one true Lamb of God who brings redemption. Jesus Christ, the true Lamb of God.